from a large vehicle to a small vehicle. And this is like the large vehicle will be like big. Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Eran and I'm the CEO of Imagry. And I came to speak with you about lessons learned from autonomous bus services that we launched in Israel with our bus and our software. So first of all, Imagry is an Israeli-American startup based in Israel and the US. We also have offices in Frankfurt. And we are a software company doing software for autonomous driving. Our software is doing two things: perception and motion planning. Everything that we do is based on neural networks and AI. The way it works, basically, is that we take the video feed from cameras and that are installed on a vehicle. We do level 3, level 4 vehicles, passenger vehicles, and also buses. And we take that video feed and we feed it into an array of neural network where each neural network is looking at something different. One is looking at traffic light, one on traffic signs, one on pedestrians. We are doing, for example, pose estimation. Another one is looking at lanes, another one on parked vehicles, another one on moving vehicles, and so on. I think you got the point. And we build in real time, by layers, a map that represents everything that is surrounding the vehicle, kind of 360 around the vehicle. That map, we are not using HD maps from the outside, right? We are mapless. The point is that we are building the map on the fly as we go. That map is being fed to another system that is doing the motion planning. The motion planning is being done also with neural networks and AI. It is using deep convolutional neural networks. It is a system that teaches itself with supervised learning of AI how to drive. So basically, we can measure the input and the output to that system. We have done until now hundreds of thousands of autonomous miles for the past 2.5 years. Cars driving autonomously in the US, Germany, and Israel. And now, again, we switch to buses. So there are three things. Just a minute. Well, this is not working. Excuse me? It's not working. Okay. There are three things that are relevant to imagery when you think about our differentiation. The first thing is that we are mapless. Again, we don't need HD map from the outside. We drive as we go. The second thing is that we are hardware agnostic. This is less relevant to buses. It's more relevant to passenger vehicles. So when we work with OEMs and tier ones, we don't care which computing and cameras they use in their vehicles. They typically prefer to choose different, because of cost, different computing platforms and different cameras for different models, for different trims at the same model and so on. So, for example, the computing could be in the car of TI, Qualcomm Snapdragon, NVIDIA, Intel, ZF, Recogni, Umbrella, and 10 more. And we can fit all of them. So we port our software to run all of them, same for cameras. And this is obviously our silver bullet when we work with OEMs and tier ones. And the third thing is that we are location independent. And I invite you to our booth E9 to see some videos in order to understand what location independence really means. So unlike many of the autonomous videos that you're familiar with, they can drive only in certain places that they've learned or tested, we can drive everywhere, almost out of the box. So we come to a new city, we come to a new place, and the car gets there and starts driving. Why? Because, again, it knows how to drive with neural networks and AI. So last year, we won two first projects, autonomous bus projects in Israel. One of them is at Sheba Medical Center, the largest in the Middle East, 700 square dunams. And another one in Nahariya, which is a northern city in Israel, line number 5 in Nahariya. And we'll announce 2 additional deals in Israel soon. In order to do it, Israel passed a law at our parliament last year allowing buses to drive level 4 according to certain regulation that you need to follow. So this is the bus, the Sheba Medical Center. You can see here the different routes. At the Sheba Medical Center, it's 4 kilometers, kind of, one way, 17 stops. And in Nahria, in the city of Nahria, it's line number 5, doing 8 kilometers from, from one end to the other end, and again, another 8 kilometers back. In order to do this project, we chose Otokar electric bus. Otokar is a Turkish bus manufacturer. They're doing roughly 4,000. This year they will do roughly 4,000 buses. We chose this platform because it's a real size bus. It's like 6.6 meters. It can host 32 passengers in different configurations. It can drive up to 200 kilometers electric between charges. It's a very new bus. We are, in fact, the first to use it. We took that bus and we integrated into that bus a computing platform. We chose the NVIDIA Orin Drive because it has a lot of computing power, 254 tera operations per second, 8 cameras outside, 4 cameras inside, our software, and this is the bus that goes on the road. And now we are start selling it also to public transportation operators in Europe. And by the way, they have also 12 meters version. So if you are interested for your lines to start with the bigger one, this could be done as well. For us, it doesn't really matter the form factor of the bus. Well, I don't need to explain here about the market need, meaning we see drivers, that we see the shortage in drivers everywhere around the world. We are getting requests from medical centers, universities, all kinds of campuses, municipalities, and so on for this type of bus. But again, what I came to talk about is lessons learned. Because it's a very long process. Typically, a pilot like that, until you get to that level 4, takes between 12 to 24 months, depends on the regulation in that market. So let's go one by one, and I explain why is it difficult and what are the things that you need to pay attention to. The first thing, which is super important, is that the bus needs to be homologated, obviously, to the market in which you operate it, right? So this is not trivial, apparently. And we knew less about buses before we started this project. Because we had 3 years of experience with passenger vehicles, German and American passenger vehicles, less with buses. So we had to take that bus that is type approved in Europe, WVTA and everything, which helps, obviously, especially if you're getting into Europe with the system, and homologate it to the Israeli market, in which there are additional requirements for it. So after doing that, we could take the bus, import it, get the license to import it, and place it on the road, on a public road, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing is that to such a project, there are many stakeholders. We have a bi-weekly status meeting in which there are 7 different regulatory entities in Israel that are participating. So we have the Ministry of Transportation, we have the Cyber Authority in Israel that must be involved in such a project. We have the Netivei Alon, which is basically, they are basically of operating all the public roads in Israel. There is the Israeli Innovation Authority, which is also, they need to pass all kinds of laws and procedures in our parliament in order for these vehicles to be able to drive on the road. And there are other entities that are participating and need to provide their input in order for this bus to operate. And there is a ton of testing that needs to be done, and I'll explain. When you want to get to level 4, the law also, it was copied in fact from Europe. So it's very similar to what you will see in Europe. It goes like that. First of all, you need the bus homologated to get it on the road. Then in order for it to drive autonomously, you need to pass a few series of NCAP testing, different speeds, different whatever. There is a NCAP testing set that you need to pass in order to activate the autonomous system. Then you activated the autonomous system, and the bus is driving autonomously with a safety driver without passengers. You need to drive it for 6 months with a safety driver. Then if you want to onboard passengers after 6 months, you need to pass another set of testing, which is cyber testing. In Israel, the UNR 155, which will be mandatory in Europe by July 2024, in Israel, it's already in effect. So we need to pass that cyber testing in order to be eligible to board passengers on the bus, into the bus. And then we drive with passengers autonomously with a safety driver on public road. And then we need to do 100,000 kilometers autonomously on the road with all buses together, not with just that one bus or 3 buses or 4 buses that we operate. We need to drive 100,000 autonomous kilometers before we are allowed to pull out the driver. So basically, with that Gantt plan, by January or February 2024, we will be able to drive level 4 buses in Israel on public roads. And finding insurance is fun. I don't know how familiar are you with getting insurance to autonomous buses. It took us like 3 months of negotiating with several insurance groups in Europe and in Israel until we managed to get the right, especially for level 4, right? Not for level 3. That was real fun. And educating the public, our Ministry of Transportation sees that as the critical factor, as the make or break. So we started doing research with psychology PhDs that are interviewing passengers in stations and in buses and asking them about their thinking, will they board the bus without a driver and all that kind of stuff. Like when is it that we'll start educating the market, you know, TV commercial, billboards and so on, about the thing that you need to do a switch in your head that you are boarding a bus that approached the station without a driver. So that's a big thing. So any questions about, and again, now we're taking it to Europe. We start working with European public operators, public transportation operators, in order to have that platform implemented in few places in Europe in 2024. Questions? Please. Maybe there is a microphone.
I've got a question on homologation, obviously. Do you have any, within your lessons learned, do you have any key success factors? Have you had any partners that simplified homologation for you, or do you have any tips?
So again, our first implementation was in Israel. So unfortunately, finding consultants for buses homologation in Israel, well, guess what? There are none available. There isn't. Well, it's not like in Europe that you can find 10 consulting companies that can help you with that. And we needed, it's crazy stuff. Like in Israel, they are not allowing that the side mirrors will be cameras. You must have the physical mirrors because we brought a bus with cameras instead of side mirrors. The flammability of the paint that they paint inside the bus is different protocol. So you need to change the painting so it will meet the Israeli standard for flammability of materials, and all kinds of very long list of criteria that we learned in the tough way, the long way. and we brought all kinds of consultants that we found in the market that understand something about buses, and they helped us with passing all these requirements. And it took us like 3 months, and eventually we got the license for the bus, and we could import it and put it on the road. In Europe, we expect it to be much easier. First of all, because this bus is already approved in Europe, like on the go. So and probably for specific markets, we're talking like with 5 different markets in Europe. For these specific markets, there will probably be small things that will need to be added, and that's where we get the support of Autocar, that are our European vendor. But that's a pain. Please. No, no time. Okay, I will be here. I will be here, and I'm taking. Thank you for attending.